aha, aha. Trace được mấy lắm. AI có trace được rồi. Can you trace this for me tiếng Ôi, office chair có vài hành. Ang nick ma chon ang confirm ta ni mo position 3 noob le omara an la lut ta ni hi PSG quest an position 3 le PSG quest ve tho ning ka chia an position 4 han la lut ve ai tundra coach zuai a captain zuai a du lo wa chua ka yeah leadership ang zong khan na du lo wa man chua kick tho ni kick chu ma se du lo wa chua ve tho ma pon ni na hoi zai le to he khale o zai le to he tum vel offlaner han la lut tak mai ha chu
Boya bun.
Gamuang về graphic card 4K ไปช่วงที่นี่ค่ะเรมอัปเกรดที่แบบโมนี่ค่ะตลอดดำเรมอัปเกรดที่ไหนเราบ้างนี่ค่ะเรม 5K เรม 5GB อันเฉียบตัวมากครับอันเลยชิปเลย
Chàng bé đến bia thua tin căn lan mắc xe cara mel mơ lu liên lâu sang nghi mong ngày lùng du sa ma chen tê re tuan zo đen hian cầm môi lâu du lai leng đắng to na yêu kim tin đón chiang là đốt thu dòng la mang lên thiên cơ rình thế van môi in su lăng lia min cắt đòn đắng xí lâu nang châu lâu sông nghe mi u sinh nun lâm quang Maria tin cái số xoam lâu ít trang về linh nun khoa man ca na toan dâu đen hiền cầm môi lâu du lai lên đắng to na yêu kim tin đón chiang là đốt thu dòng la mang lên thiên cơ rình thế van
Vamos. Fai a telve kan jo. Coi nghe smoke chui vấp bốc lồ về. Chú lò. Literally unplayable. Anh nồng mò, anh nồng. Không nghĩ liên tục. À, quay đầu, hit. Slow down, slow down. Slow chứ. Đi chế chỗ ống. Cái đấy ốc. Danger su password pakat mingan ni vetlat may. What the fuck 5 miss? What lucky? What lucky? Dami thi nghe. Sota. Iki le kha le. Anh chắc cắn một tòa lầu tốc đôn đúng không? Tầm mình lên chứ lên thay chiếm để trép tụi em. Mi xem về bập về bốc em. Biết rồi. Raindrop, drop top. Cái nghi lúc tục cái left click so. Thank you. Ê, cho con những cái cho cái mũ ha. Lúc chụp sẽ to, lúc chụp lại mấy thì không có trăng khăn đâu. Cái nghi lúc tục. Lâu lâu ốm rồi. Gì lâu TP rồi, bảo là nãy ra một cái gì lâu TP tiệt hết rồi. I like your gut, G. Nè, cái quần về thấy ta em. Nè, các bạn lại thấy chết đó. Cái nghi lúc tục. observa guardando che c'è dello web. نمشي Johnny too. Ek ba dito lo Adam. I ai chả thấu lòng mà spin á. I slow thể chết động chứ. Slow là spin giống mai ní tí nè mà. Nó work lại ném khó chứ. Tao vẫn nghĩ hệ pa lo ông phụ về chứ hả? Coi pa hi gai gấp tôi là.
sak ming chulan hling pui ani alen rual ten val pui tin kan ko a chun nun ma te ti a Chinese ming chu su thawa yo ji yang ai sang a boss chu sang wana eng mala hi tui tak tak anei lo bai ka silla chang le a broken a chang le kong shan nu ho photographer nia a chang le movie project pa sang a kid mi fella ni lo wa mi suot po ani lo a sak me la tra lo aril ruasia hanen la ma yan vai ta min at la cham lo a cho me ngai na ber ar tui le dal a hun tam zo hi sam zo na no mang shi a sam say ka mu hian ka at lai ka ngai ting nghe sam mi zo zo ma tin ka han zo ta sam ka zo lo zo nin ka pa lo ati a tu say cho nin dit na chen na nei a sak mel ki en no la pa lem lo in ti pa na avenger dum le sen chia la le ya shikara ngai na le ba ngai sak lau mi fella ni lo wa mi suot po ani lo a sak me la tra lo aril ruasia hanen la ma yan vai da min at la cham lo a cho me ngai na ber ar tui le dal mi fella ni lo wa mi suot po ani lo a sak me la tra lo aril ruasia hanen la ma yan vai da min at la cham lo a cho me ngai na ber a cho me ngai na ber a cho me ngai na ber ar tui le dal
nó bắt rong về luôn
a sak ming chulan hling pui ani
phạm mà nặng vô
alen rual ten val pui tin kan ko a chun nun ma te ti a Chinese ming chu su thawa yo ji yang ai sang a boss chu sang wana eng mala hi tui tak tak anei lo bai ka silla chang le a broken a chang le kong shan nu ho photographer nia a chang le movie project pa sang a kid
follow back lâu vàng mơ rèn thân này lộ chân nó follow back lâu vàng chỉ bớt chung mình tiền như thế rồi mơ nhưng lạc trên này kiểu Vô em thầm. Vô em. Dagon level 1 natang. Dagon level 1 natang lang. Damal laos bay chuak tatla mai dam men tinga kan ti don katian te ka chu taro katiang mentality kan lo dei ma
Anak lura kim ten leng du ni du lai chang belin bia thu tim kan lan ma se
so
kara
mi tan
mel malung lian lo shang i
ta na lang chu don mi ki
mang mai lung du sa ma
no mai
ti re Đôi dù đang hiên cầm môi nồng đủ lai lên đắng tô na y vương tu
islan ba lo na lan lo soi
Kim tin đón thiên là đô thu dùng la mang lên thiên cơ rinh thế Oh oh phai môi Oh oh phai Cùng su lâu lia min cả đòn đắng xí lâu Ô nắng nắng dẫu lâu dông nghe mi ưu sinh đôn lâm thoáng Mà riêng tên cứ gió gió lâu Ý chàng về linh cung thoáng Bằng cả noa Tuổi dù đang hiên cầm môi nồng đủ lai lên đắng tô na y vương tu Kim tin đón thiên là đô thu dùng la mang lên thiên cơ rinh thế Oh oh phai môi Oh oh phai môi Lẽ mi đừng thu ai sớm hết thua thế Qua nu mang sầu mình lâu hết lẽ thế Chiều xanh nè mơ và lung lung thiên Qua bên thật đau bán hôn lẽ Tuổi dù đang hiên cầm môi nồng đủ lai lên đắng tô na y vương tu Kim tin đón thiên là đô thu dùng la mang lên thiên cơ rinh thế Oh oh phai môi Oh oh phai môi Oh oh phai môi
วิ่งดีเดาเคอร์ 이 NP kan inke rangula trengo te kan inke lo ne alti nen and ready lu to khu chẳng cần một mốc này rồi tao mới lo viết em tí cái này thôi khít ngăn thế mấy chữ chuồn nghe uất mình pe ring what à ồ đầm đầm bối mò ông thân luôn bối sần tụi nó bảo mà à đầm meeting ready thế à ý chút tí chúng nó alo push vào cho nó cái link lút pop đồ na alo om chuan đủ lẽ tóc ảnh TP là po cái ready xịn xịn mà nghe tóc kia chuan update ta xịn ready ready em cái này nóng lẻ chứ cái là đâm đều sách mình lo khỏi bé cái gì hả đi nó khỏi bé kia rùa bầu anh bầu vét mít tí lâu chứ đây mình ready lấy mít anh ngồi đó oh ready rồi go top la à nghe quên rồi anh nín về vía vắng chiếm pa chứ mà sẽ nảy chặt tọt vía vào nha MP profit ka position hlalu tu ka dam ano mà sẽ lên khả năng kan om vek ki chu NP kan check box si pu don lo vía ka dam ka pe zueng cha coi rong 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 hey 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 bầu nan go 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 mình sẵn mà em sẵn mình lâu nhỉ hả nè lụt về thì thấy bắt cái lâu nhiều rồi sẵn lầm bằng rồi cả khi tao bắt đầu mình TP đây thì NP khi chẳng rồi bao cột ở chưa nên thì rồi ý rồi chỉ cho trong bà nung dọc nung dọc yeah đâm tóc vào khăn ông đeo chặt chặt thì lâu cái lâu là nice done đâm cái lo apa hành tôi tapi đâm mi thì cái lệ thế Travis cái này tôi ổn na có về tao nhưng mà bot ka đâm bot best đâu ni mo tier 2 cái đông về chứ tier 3 đông liền ha laru mi tại in file don chung có về thế riêng hai riêng anh nghe try thế lâu tí nó salute triangle là ní chứ sợi tụm rồi tôi bảo anh cái lệ kêu nghe đầm ready ikan hal top mình best kalau kal ni kalau kal kalau kal fight rồi đủ rồi top apa suyu cổng lộ top bảo lần hay TP số hàng về chi phải em chung mùa cảnh là với cận thì defend bọn tung thể để mới tay thì cho ok thầy lên em game tí thút đấy à mình chẳng thấy lâu thì nhìn thấy rồi không gì không lâu à tí để mình ngâm Kipakuan team ha lau jen chun ingam lu tu Nature's Prophet chu plom ta view ni mo dami al tin ready em nakasia hey trap tu đam nghe mình veng ready em ôi cái use palo cái gì lứt cái use palo lo ấy thật lên xuân đấy lo mo go rồi anh đi ngang chứ cần giống về phải xia kapun hai local su local ru kapun hai local ru มันตาขันหันตีบ้าสตีเลยเพจเซ่ shotgun man em shotgun man em ai NP joining fights coi số ra cái giống đu đôn ready rồi spell phang kan rồi in lên thêm bụi cả văn lồng sập lúc cả nghe cả ta 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 bụi lỗ tụi mà vai quá ghê hè keep it in ka keep it lol đã các cái cảnh khác lỗ đôi mi rồi reroll đồng hun cái thì mấy gì hả Dota hero. Dota. Dota lắm phần hero đi cà phê sẽ rất Jim mà kinh khá chuan Gary. Lần chuyên khá là nợ mô đầm sẽ bùi khá chuan là vì chúng khá chuan ở dấu để mà sẽ lần chuyên này khá chuan. À đi. Ôi. Rồi wo Jim mà vua khá chu hỗ chất mà. Eh, GH post 5 fan hindi doon. Boy. Kuta chu u. Cái chỗ bốc bóng anh đinh run gì thấu. Anh ông. Yes, a bit. Body block. Nổm lâu Thiểm tan chuẩn đông nghe. Nghe lâu đông lâu bi chắc mấy rồi đầm. Ember, ember, ember. Touch xem hầu khao khao chú biển sẵn nè ô gara bawa vắt tấm mà sẽ cái chú xí anh nghĩ chắc có mồm lầu cái gì hết tiền hả chú anh ba ngày đi玩嘢tụng nghe mua tụng nghe đi đuổi xí control vector lo thì số thì đó hết chứ mà mua cùng sòng ni chuang về hay sòng bắn sòng ni sòng băng á sòng bạc quá sòng ni phang hạt tan chứ mua cả bà hàn oi ôm lâu ấy anti vector bằng xí anh họ chọc bao cái chú có không phải về thấu mấy không phải thua chứ CRB thế chứ nè đông khoa mango này đi đông lâu mì discrimination mà đam kia phải kiếm lấy mày đi diệt chưa LPS yêu tai cô cả robot ini thì là thì lâu thua xíu chứ ha LPS yêu tai cô cái tay chú anh word đâu anh không có trăng căng cái lăng nghe push wave ha tao muốn hỏi cái nó mà mình trần bùi đã nó hát về gì vậy go ula ê hết lại lâu cái tí pi dọc kia à thi đủ nhỉ kaya stan na về giờ về vinh không đấy về giờ cái mình phải đủ rồi làm luật phải là mình ngăn đi lâu vàng anh bớt tán tầm nữa tụi có tầm nó có thể ê thì mình cái thì haช่วย nice ไว้ขัดเตอร์เอาตัวตะกี้นะไอ้ดำสลักมันดันตัวฉินเจ๊ค่ะนี่สวยพังไอ้สวยพังดำอูมิลาอ๋อเอาว่าก็สักเรื่องเวทเด็กเนี่ยไง LPS siêu tai con. Sợi rùa linh anh lâu lệ chứ nhỉ LPS siêu tai. Đầm hành alti te let's go. Heart of Tara sa niang. Này lâu đầm. I bộ na này tổ kho đầm kia đều là có SF ha. Neck thút chứ ha. Zo cái tiếng zo ngin. Heart of Tara te lâu po hiền lần lâu chẳng thấy nhỉ đó rồi. Ai bé căng bé căng. Hey yo, Jackie. Lát đi vào cái chân ra in hệ đâu nhỉ? Chẳng qua là hít này. Sao đó? I hit đó mà tiêu. Bu cho bering này năm lọ. Gặp hành lạc nạt bùi cha. Là đi. Cái bao nhiêu chẳng được nè. Nè. Số đó ông mì. Ai, Abaddon, Abaddon. Abaddon. Ôi, smoke nga lang, smoke nga lang, Anshelo, ki. Kapa kakakelaw, so pasok kakezo. Abul na yan. Abul na yan. Blitmil. Pop, pop. In lo ka them bo thi ka that don thau na ngin assistant du chong lo mi. Asia tu ten Wolverine an tran lo nia high ground nang dam ka ring pop don chen nia dam ka ring che hi ka ring sual hle me kan vai parina ki khoi to ngam lo ni mo sang ha lut ngam lo gan ne do dia cho nan release to do dia an release to do di kha prank channel ani to prank bak up upload prank back che satanic zo prank bro start screen akan difficulty different lo game chung akan game dang an lo ni dai lo among us lo ni dai din din ờ tun hai thì mấy tiếng tun hai developer ang zong ka long ve ve ha chu doom chỉ sang sang game an siam ve kha doom lui deuh ha Minecraft chung te ani AI chung te ve te po han an siam kwal ve kha a bon ka ti ge AI thar ber kha chu AI eh ka thi don ni lo ka thi zui à eh Willis run du mà hiền là pui lom khóc mày rimua là po an lâu khel ti le thi to ni hi dum chu ai po là po a khel thei ka dum du ni ke à nice thì tạm về lúc tu xuống lẹ nghe lâu Hitler Yerma mie top anh nằm đâu vắt tay về lại hen nằm đâu vắt đủ lẹ fight bro cái tỷ push come hồ cái nhảy lướt tục push ru lên đằng push lão su Stay with me. Quay đầm mid fight đi là. Ôi, mang man em. Ala om rem ngani mo. Hit rồi, hit rồi. Anh ogre rất trắng. Anh ogre rất trắng em. Lệ. Em 40 đó à. Hit rồi, nghe blade mấy lý thầu. Tiếng mà thì đâu lầu ra. Cầm cắn defend thì em. Cắn pahin, cắn defend thì em. Nè. Và second rare để một. Và second rồi tôi mà. Nga cấp biến hung hắc lo đầm. Anh trăng răng đó tin mình tí lâu chứ. Your mom stay with me. Alang na chan hi cho li she ni. Webo check. Khel me ka nghe dấu tô mi khel me việc random rena om po om to lo discord da. Pai ve lo kan nei lo taro da pai te ora ha kan nei lo shim shim nè ora item cha yer mame webo che webo che offlane akap na em bleng na mo utility lo
I mean, sure thing it ain't.
dam utility ha shit i mu ngai ni ha download ti rồi i gen ha 你问摸碰呗。娘，哎，個快檔讀啊！哎，靠，近空縮。Aku telon ti kasi ah. Ni tu di kan di mana? Tikel mà thì khán eng mà lê lâu nga mà. Double check. Dia beli ke bawah. Atau pak mixes. Ôi, pakata kan pahan mau chứ minta chùa lâu cho nó con ra. Goro ka, Joy ka. Let's move, Goro. Lâu cái. Cạp tốc rồi. Ê, em vắt tắm về. Tắm thế. Ê. Chứ. Ra, hút phụ lúc tục. Đã xin ngay mà đầm, anh có về thế ấy này. Igo tóc thầy anh cứ igo tóc thầy anh chú đi. Đầm adu to, asti to don chú nào ý igo tóc thầy. Cặp tóc. Okay, lâu cái lệ pakat. Das ngay đầm, das mang tất thể. Oh hey. Chi big lâu về. Thật đó sắm quê. Thật đủ lớn gì hả? Chân sốt. Giờ mà ngay rất. Tawar ratia. Tawar bulat lang ko niya ngati na chumo om tak chu. Go top ru ingin kau. Bum. Go chứ. Yêu thấy trách rồi. Ôi. das ik ko ve tu damati lo chu ke pon ka kyang leng dik to lo nia koi đi gì tóc cái to sang chứ hết lãnh hải à phan mà ồ Chris đó ném ấy nhì lòng mà nó đâm balti drop thấy rồi chút tí chút cái kia vấp lỗ ngay hay xấu thì mình cần lỗ ngay cả tí nào nữa cả tri tos cái lỗ cái cu im huem anh thiết đầu lúc tu em tu mà đi tăng chút damage anh mà đi dọc anh thiết tệ có anh bon với cả thì phải mất mấy thế nhỉ anh xuống cái gì cái này cả bà hỉ lái thật mang rủi nhá đầm mò ha ale sẽ chết đó kan jungle rồi nghe cả đầm mà đây mà một đâm ít lắm ya nghe khá attack speed khá gọi dễ thế luôn một high ground defender khoảnh ngâm xí là con đẹp này nghe tụ in the position vak ngai he tại nó trăng cạp thì he tại kal chua tin chung à hiền cạp ni han chua khả đi gì cô mà sao lẩu ruộng lù thút những tàu lẩu tới chưa lỗ mà lò đầm rồi đi gì cần tốt lút thút tăng đi việc lẩu lòng alo mà nhỉ Please. Đập middle here hầu lúc tụi cái text spin mấy middle here đó mình heal được đó nè ha heal cái này ngó rồi second tower có ổn thì nè đâu cái nó là lì nè cái dầu đón xì cái video nó giờ xâm lên chứ rồi mở nó sùng thì sẽ không biết chia động cái này in trăng thì đó ném cả này đắng rồi ranger đi cà phê hít chả chắc thì vào anh yêu hệ truyền cái nào cái tos cái stand tos truyền vào anh yêu nè đâm mà come on it third jitsu nó thấy third jitsu đi
table and stuff like that.
Hello
and welcome back to the Race to World First, and huge thank you to our sponsors, our presenting sponsor, of course, in Coinbase, as well as Secret Labs, Monster Energy, Alienware, Rare.io, Wowhead, Warcraft Logs, and Dungeon Dojo. Hello, everyone. I'm Jack, joined by Kalamazi and Zyronic to get our day started. As last night, despite some excellent pulls, we did not yet see a kill on Brew Twister Ovanax, leaving the entire world really at 4 of 8 Mythic.
Yeah, my yield's almost there at 4 out of 8 at this point. I don't want to fight this boss. I do, but like, I don't think this boss is killable in this form this week.
Interesting.
I just don't think so. I think it's probably time to. I'm gonna just come out and say it. I think it's probably time to consider knocking this boss down a little bit. It's Thursday. If it was like Sunday, I'd say keep it around where it's at, but it's Thursday. And this is the 5th boss in the raid.
That's really brave of you to say, Kalamazi. I think they need to get the boss dead as well. Now, in order to actually get the boss dead, unfortunately, it looks like the players think they need to gear up a little bit more. So we do see them get some heroic Queen Ansarek. Looks like they kept a little on the table just in case they want to gear out a couple of alts that are good for this fight with some tier maybe. They can throw 3 Gyrios someone's way in addition to the heroic token you get for killing the boss. You can get force that pretty quickly, so...
True. It'll be interesting to see.
Characters pretty quick, yeah?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their plan is going to be for today. Before we get too deep into it, though, let's give a special shout out to our charity partner in the Santa Monica Animal Shelter as we are well underway hitting some of our goals. We've already hit the first of our stretch goals in creating that Holofall star.
Oh,
little science project that we
haven't done yet
as well. Not yet.
Not yet.
We're at $22,558.37. And at $2,500, we're going to be getting into that pumpkin carving contest. At $5,000, we're going to be doing the commentator orchestra, where all the commentators are getting together, getting some kazoos, and remaking the amazing Mr. Pandaria kazoo theme song.
Okay.
$7,500, casters are doing blindfolded delves. We've been talking about a couple different ideas there. Maybe having 2 players blindfolded and then a third one that's leading them.
That'd be good.
At $10,000, there's Candy Bugs. $15,000, you in Twitch chat get to play production. Sorry, YouTube chat. And $20,000 with date with Zalatath herself. $25,000, a raider, commentator, and production member are going to be waxing their legs.
The whole leg, like a part of the leg.
I mean, I'm not getting my leg laxed. My weg laxed, so it's not my problem, okay? Not gonna be my concern.
Your weg is okay.
My weg is gonna be just fine, let me tell you on that one. And you know, everyone in the Race to World First seems to be doing just fine, sitting comfortably at 4 of 8. So let's take it on over to our Coinbase leaderboard. As we can see, the entire top 10 in the world are all sitting comfy here at 4 of 8, working on to Brood Twister Overnex. Now, earlier on in the race, we were able to see a bunch of new names or some names that we don't see too frequently in the top 10. Now, we're really getting back to having everybody, those familiar faces, Echo, Ethical, the Oceanic Guild, as well as another Oceanic Guild in Honestly, as well as Method coming in. Melee Mechanics and DMG, notably. Actually, I don't know if DMG is doing any day rating. I know Melee Mechanics is.
Yeah, but I mean, there's obviously even more guilds beyond this, right? The top 20 guilds right now, we're stuck at that 4 of 8 Mythic. We'll probably see more hit that point today.
Yeah.
We might see up to like 40 guilds get to this wall before we see one of the top guilds actually break through.
I mean
this is clearly a step up in difficulty.
It is, right? So you can choose Brood Twister or Nexus Princess. And the thing is, there's not really many guilds pulling Nexus Princess. One guild's I think got it like 70%. I don't know who it is exactly, but Brood Twister seems to like, you know, be the so easier version, I guess, of these 2 bosses. And yeah, I mean, they hit Enrage at 29% last time, I think, roughly.
They did indeed. So, like you mentioned, after you kill Roshanan, you have the option between Brood Twister Overnex or Nexus Princess Kaiveza here on our Honda Boss web. Actually, it's not, but it is for this time. We have the option between the 2. And as you mentioned, everybody is predominantly going into Brood Twister, but I always wonder if a couple of teams just went up to Nexus Princess and they're like, all right, let's see how much health she has. Oh my god, it's way too much. All right, later.
It did actually. Method did that yesterday a little bit. We got to see a little bit about how that boss works, and of course, some of the mechanics in that fight are pretty crazy on Mythic as well. Having to make sure you break the boss with some of those assassinates as well. Also, just overall, the way that the boss works, if you get below 10% HP, the boss just kills you.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting fight and something to look forward to after we do finally get through Overnex.
I think you have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have like 1 or 2 seconds to get yourself topped before the Reaper effect, when you drop sub 10%, kills you outright. I think you have like a very brief window for like, healer, please heal me.
So, I'm old, I can't react that fast.
Well, that's why you're not a healer. That's why you're not a healer. That's why it's my responsibility to save you.
Yeah.
You know, I saw the Warlock in my guild use like 3 Hellstones or something like that in a fight. What's the deal there?
Yeah, you can use it every minute now as a Warlock.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's chugging him.
He's one of my favorite targets to cast Radiance off of, because I know that he's going to be full HP every time. So you cast a spell to apply it to most people, and then you cast them back to back, basically. And it's always going to be a smart heal, healing the lowest health targets. So I'm already like pre-hovering over the Warlock because I know that he's just never going to be dropping low.
Okay.
It's insane. Wish the rest of the raid would avoid dropping low too often, but it's been a major theme, of course, for Overnax because the amount of damage on this encounter is absolutely absurd. But despite that, they're actually going in with 3 healers. All these guilds going in with 3 healers on the encounter.
Yeah, you predicted 5 yesterday, right?
I was very wrong. I was like, surely this boss is going to be crazy. They 5 healed Rashadanan. Surely this damage is going to be absurd. And while it is, they are meeting the damage quite a bit more. And as a result, they have to force the 3 healers and make sure they're really attributing as much damage as they possibly can to a lot of those adds, because each of the different tridents in the room is empowering those different adds.
Is that what we're going with tridents?
Yeah, I mean, it's inaccurate to call it a quadrant because there's 3
sections, triads.
Yeah, you can do triads, the thirds. Yeah,
but I mean that definitely goes to
slice.
show you the rise of the preservation of Ochre during Heroic Week was kind of something that some people saw coming. Jack, maybe some people saw it coming. Didn't think it would be as broken as it was. The amount of HPS that class can output, in addition to just having the priest there as well.
Yeah.
That covers most of the healing they need as long as they keep it clean.
Right.
Keeping it clean is the hard part, though.
I was expecting it to just be brought once. I did not think that you're going to be bringing 2 preservation of Ochres on hand, but it just highlights how much HPS is just insanely important. If a spec just blasts, you're going to be bringing it to raise the first.
I mean, they played 2 in every heal, I think, right? Correct? We saw 5 lizards on Olgrax, I think the first 3 or 4.
Right.
3 dev, 2 Prez. Now it's a bit more of an AUG shift, which we expected at some point, obviously, right? But yeah, I mean, Prez has been pretty solid. It's a solid damage profile in this fight as well, with the stacked, like, just healing in general.
Right. It takes advantage of the new hero talent in Flame Shaper Evoker, and there's a new ability called Engulf, where basically you are extending the duration of your Dream Breath healing over time effect, and also extending it, and you can echo it and have it cast multiple times. So you're basically like making this massive detonation of healing on top of you. And yeah, a lot of these fights have a lot of movement, but there's a lot of areas where you can get everybody stacked up, and that's been a major theme, of course, for Brute Twister Overnax, is having people very tightly stacked up and making sure they're able to light up those adds as quickly as they possibly can.
Well, speaking of Overnax, I'm pretty sure we have a replay of the best pull from last night, so why don't we talk over that and see what exactly it was that was causing issues for them, and how well this pull went for them, and how they can pull out an extra 20% of boss HP, because while they did finally get to see the end of the fight, 20% HP is a lot to chew through.
It's a massive amount. So keep in mind, there's 3 sections of the room, and on Mythic difficulty, there's additional empowerments that are enhancing the strength of the various eggs.
Yeah, so basically you choose either the spider side, the worm side, or like the parasite Gahoonies side, whatever you want to call it. And whatever you go to, that side is empowered with those adds, and once you basically get that side done, it empowers the rest of the other sides as well. So if you have, let's say for example, the first side here is empowered spiders, you go to the second part, if that's the Gahoonies, the parasite section, you're going to have both empowered spiders and empowered parasites. And the third section's when all hell breaks loose. You've got everything empowered, you're just trying to stay alive with just insane health damage increases on all these mobs, and the boss is at like 30%. So behind like a solid... a lot more damage, let's put it that way.
That's right, and you can even see how well they're planning their positioning, as on heroic difficulty you have the eggs being broken by one of those purple circles on players, but on mythic difficulty you need 2 players per egg to be able to destroy them and activate the adds.
The other thing that's important to mention as well is that each of those sections, whichever egg is empowered in that section, there are more of those in that section as well. Normally there's only 5 of each egg in the section, but if it is the empowered section for that egg, for instance, they start on the parasites, there are 8 of those empowered eggs. So there's 8 sets of parasites that they have to deal with in the first section, 8 sets of spiders in the second section, and then 8 worms in the final section, which means twice in that phase you're going to be breaking out 3 of that ad type that's empowered. So starting off with the parasites, because they can kind of just AoE blitz those down with the comp. It's not something they're too worried about doing. As long as they don't let an infest cast get off, they're going to be okay with the empowered parasites here. Just bringing the boss to the worms, cleaving them down, and then of course leaving the spiders up last, just focusing boss damage, using funnel to deal with those spiders at the end.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we saw them actually pulling the spider section first yesterday for the first few hours, like testing out different raid comps, some devs, some augs, locking in on this double Frost DK comp, which has been really strong. Frost seems exceptionally powerful here.
It's been fascinating to see the differences in compositions compared to Dragonflight. The hero talents in and of themselves give you a few different ways for you to build your class and optimize your performance. And we have been seeing, like you mentioned, lots of Death Knights on hand. You even see the extra positioning out of Boomy right there, jumping out of the raid really quickly for those dispels, because the roots are really annoying, really frustrating in the encounter with how much movement you have to deal with. And we can even see, I think that's the Black Blood touching one of those worms, so I think it's making it so it's casting even faster, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Usually that's just something that will auto break out the eggs and serve as a wipe mechanic if you mess up the breaking out mechanic. If you break out one of those eggs with the Black Blood on the ground, it does something like 2 million damage to the raid every 2 seconds for 30 seconds, which, you know, if there's nothing else going on, maybe the double Prez Holy can actually, you know, heal through it, but that's not something you can deal with in addition to all the other damage going out.
Right.
Correct. As you can see, they've also optimized their positioning, being as far away from that other quadrant, that trident position, so the boss is taking as much time as possible before it's going to suck up the Black Blood of the second zone.
Yeah, we saw them doing that, I think, like an hour or two in the Prague day, or I guess yesterday, right? When this is a really cool boss. You can basically build how you want to approach it, right? You can go to different sections first, and then even like when they were trying to figure that out, they were also already optimizing the way they were pulling the boss around, dragging him to that far back corner right along the Black Blood, so he paths in through the longest route possible for a bit more damage. And that's not going to make up 30%.
Right.
But that might make up 2%, 1% if you're in that immune, please just don't die, kill the boss phase. So while they might not have the damage right now to kill this boss, they're in a position where if it gets nerfed or they get that damage somehow, they just rinse and repeat and the boss should hopefully die.
Correct. And this is probably one of the most insane parts of high-end raid progression is how do you find the additional amount of damage? There's always a little bit more damage you can do, always a little bit more that you can find onto the boss. And we've seen it on a variety of encounters over the years where having that bit of extra movement and optimization so it takes a little bit longer for the boss to start the phase can make all the difference in the world. And you can even see how they're setting up for that incoming damage is huge.
Yeah, that's just one of the things in Race to World First progression that you kind of have to get used to as a player. You look at a boss and think, man, where are we going to find this extra damage? Give it a few pulls of consistency and you're there. Liquid's first World First together as a guild back in the day in Azoth was one of those encounters where we were looking at that boss and you're like, does it die at 25%? How is this
I remember
possible? And you know, you will optimize phase 1 a little bit, get an extra boss percentage there. You optimize phase 2 a little bit, get a couple percent there. You keep chewing off those percentage points from consistency and consistency through pulls, and eventually get to the point where it's killable. I mean, they're really only 60 pulls into this boss, right? They haven't pulled it for too long. It could end up being one of those bosses that takes another 20 pulls of consistency. It could be another 40 or 50. We'll have to see. Now, of course, they're optimizing right now in splits as we're looking at this, but you know, we can actually start to see some of the pain points of the fight here. This is something that was causing them a lot of issues near the end of the raid yesterday. This overlap here where they break out these eggs in addition to having to spread out for webs into a second web set right afterwards, this was causing them headaches.
That's the amazing thing I love about Race to World First is there are these moments, these critical moments that sometimes you only really see when you're this low of gear or when you're like some of the first guilds experiencing it, that you have to find your way past some of these critical combinations, figuring out how to optimize your damage and stay alive at the same time.
Yeah, like Zyra mentioned, there are a bit of splits coming up, possibly maybe some Antaret kills really fast to gear other players up. If they come in and do actually nerf this boss, I'm not saying that they should necessarily yet, but you're not going to see a 30% health nerf. Like, I would venture to guess maybe 10, 15%. Like Zyra was talking about, there's still a lot of room for optimization here. Maybe you bring in a third Frost Decay. Maybe you find a way to eke out 2 more % in the first quadrant. Maybe 2% more per quadrant moving CDs around, which means that, like, maybe only a 10 to 15% nerf is even needed, if at all, on this boss, right? But 60 pulls is not much. There's
I don't even like saying the nerf
here.
The nerf word at all.
Oh, I can tell.
I don't think this needs to be nerfed.
All right.
Yet. I mean,
okay.
It still remains to be seen what an optimized pull even looks like. I mean, I think we're a little bit not quite acclimated to the Race to World First climate here. It's been 10 months since the last one. The first 4 bosses we saw were all one-shot, even if they were scuffed.
Yeah, it's fair.
This is just a hard boss. I mean, I think they can find the extra damage here.
It's an interesting thing that you mentioned as well, Zyro, of like getting reacclimated to the Race to World First. It's such a great point because it's also getting reacclimated to having a heroic week. we're so used to, from Dragonflight, not having this heroic week, spending the first 2 or 3 days on splits, everybody getting all the gear they could possibly want, and then they're blasting the first 5, 6 bosses down, and then we spent a whole bunch of time in the last 2. We already anticipated spending a ton of time in the last 2, but we weren't really sure how some of these mid-level bosses were going to be. Personally, I'm stoked that Ovanax is not falling over. I'm excited that Nexus Princess looks like it's going to be an absolute bear to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of, what was the boss in Tomb of Sargeras? Mid
Fallen Avatar?
No, like
Mistress Saznin.
Yeah, Mistress Saznin. That was a wall. I mean,
that's right.
We also, like, looking back
disbanded my guild.
Years, did it really?
Well,
I don't even want to know.
Not in the way that you think.
That's a good reference.
Thank you.
Someone downloaded a weak aura that auto disbanded the guild.
I remember hearing about that.
Right.
That's great.
So we had a weak aura that would mark players basically for the line mechanic on that boss. And so they told us, hey, when the line mechanic goes out, it'll sort you into groups. So we imported it, didn't think anything of it. The line mechanic goes out, and then it G disbands the team. And so while the mechanic went out, we lagged, and then nobody was in a guild anymore.
What we can see on screen, we didn't quite hit the enrage here. We're on the last ad set. There's still a little bit of energy on the boss art, 80 energy.
The egg, though, in the top right.
Yeah, they missed an egg. They have a worm casting in the corner here. So we didn't quite see what the extent of their full damage would be here. I believe they have the boss at, not mistaken, yeah, 23% there, and that's with the raid kind of slowly crawling to a death at the end. I think this boss, with a perfect pull from that spot they were in, they could get it into the low teens if everyone stayed alive through that ad set.
Right.
And of course, that's something you can optimize from.
Exactly. I remember from even Tindril polls where we were looking at how are they going to find the damage for this? How are they going to organize themselves properly for the seeds? Like, surely some of these things are going to get nerfed. And then slowly, bit by bit, they start finding a way. And so it's fascinating to see the amount of progress that it has taken for them to, most of the day yesterday, to optimize and get to this point. But it's also massive progression that after they do a couple splits, get a little bit more gear, also get the well-rested and well-fed buff IRL, they're going to be in a good position to make greater strides.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so I'm
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say Dead by Dinner Time then.
So
excited.
I'm glad you asked that because we also have our caster predictions for how many pulls in general it's going to take. So before we get into Dead Before Dinner or not, let's see what our initial predictions were going to be on how many pulls were going to be required. At this point right now, it looks like Aya's in the lead and going to be closest.
Well, Aya just throws numbers up. She doesn't.
What do you mean?
What do you said that? She's like, I don't know. She said, I don't know what's going on. Last race, she's like, I just throw numbers up there.
What rules are we going by? Closest in proximity, or are we going by Price is Right rules?
I think the number like proximity, if you're 5 points off, 10 points off, something like that. Because I want to say we're at 60-something points at the moment. So I guess you're right, to be fair to you, Zyro. Aya is not the closest based on the price.
Right, makes it the closest.
Yeah, makes it be the closest at the moment. I'm still predicting it's going to take a little longer, so it could move into position where Aya could be the closest. That's fair. Good call.
My 15 is a little low.
A little bit.
Like, I mean,
a little bit.
I think Aya might take it down, actually.
Yep. But again, that's the fascinating thing about the race thus far. As you can see, actually 79 pulls you can see on the far right side. So it's fascinating to see thus far what our predictions were, our initial thoughts were going to be as to how it's now shaping up. My 55 prediction for Nexus Princess is not looking too good.
I mean, to be fair, Max said 25 in this boss. You can see in the far right side of the screen there. He mentioned also this, he likes his boss. This is like a build a boss kind of approach. You're the first guild here at a boss, so you can choose where you start, what quadrant you go in, and how you want to approach this fight. This is what they enjoy. This is like their setting that they want to be in, right? But yeah, I think even, are you surprised it's taking this long, Jack? Like, even with your count being 49, are you like, this is about what you expected?
I'm like pleasantly surprised, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like, I thought it was going to be more difficult than I think, you know, for example, you had suggested with your guess. And I'm like excited that it is going to take a little bit longer, since there's a number of like really high quality encounters in the middle of raids, but usually they fall over to high-end guilds so quickly. I think Nimue and Amir Drasil was, I don't know, 10 pulls or something, like not much at all. And I think it was one of my favorite fights in the middle of the raid.
Wait, oh, you mean Nimu?
He means Naimu.
Yeah.
Naimu, yeah.
the big tree.
Naimu, the cow.
The big tree.
Yeah. fair. I mean, I want to see Nexus Princess.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because both these bosses were buffed around the same time based on how guilds are performing on the first war. Which, I mean, to be fair, they did indeed hit Rashanon's Exhaust and Rage, which didn't kill them, but they probably couldn't last much longer at that point.
Most guilds have seen that, right? Everyone
Yeah.
saw that. So I still think that, I forget who said it yesterday, but I agree with him that I don't
Great
think we were
Sorka.
supposed to see
Great
Rashanon die that
Sorka.
quickly, and they accidentally got to kill the boss before they could buff it.
All right, well, I mean, that's fair. I'm down for it.
Well, all the more reason I'm excited that Brew Twister and Nexus Princess are going to be quite challenging, because I think everybody looking at this list knows that the Silken Court and Queen Anzarek are going to be a massive wall for them to overcome.
Nah, Silken Court's gonna fall on 120 pulls.
Oh no.
I'm with Cam's here. I think there's a world where Silken Court dies in like 130 pulls. They've spent, not just like Liquid, but many guilds have spent constant hours in even normal practicing mythic strats. Maybe some guild broke the code. You know, I feel like Silken Court might be a much heavier melee fight than we thought it would be as well. Zyra, do you have any, you concur, Dr. Zyro, or?
Oh yeah, no. As you can see by my pull count prediction, I 100% agree with you. We're definitely gonna get to that
There's two
situation.
different thoughts there, Zyra. I mean,
That's the thing. Now you're gonna be winning the Price is Right rules. You go over and then you instantly win. If you go over, what's the next closest? 269.
That's kind of the joke,
Yeah.
right? If the boss goes above 200-300 pulls, it doesn't matter what I say because I'll be right.
Right.
The Price is
Fair.
Right rules.
it's fair.
We need to start keeping score
I always keep score.
tier by tier. Yeah. Oh, do you?
It's just in my head. I don't.
Anh full prediction here.
I like the cam strategy for the predictions. Like, these numbers might not be right, but if they're wrong, it's the WoW devs that are wrong.
All right.
We'd love to be able to see it. So, of course, they're not yet pulling Brood Twister Ovanax. We are going to be taking a nice look at more Queen Anzarek splits before they're, of course, going to be jumping back into Brood Twister. So, I wonder if they're going to have any sort of adjustments to composition based off what we saw yesterday. You know, Zyro, you were mentioning specifically, they might be gearing up a couple more alts, taking advantage of those curios, getting some additional crafts on those characters to make sure that they can bring them in, change up their damage profile a little bit, make things easier.
And I think the thing is, it's not as easy as just adding more AoE damage to the group, right? You need to add something to the group that does AoE damage passively. You want to do as much boss damage as possible. They might just be thinking of adding 2 more DKs.
Yeah.
Echo's pulling the boss right now. They are running a 4 DK comp, actually swapping one of their blood DKs over to Frost to help do as much AoE damage as possible on that fight. They aren't even running Breath on their DKs. They're just going... Shattering Sweep,
I think
that's the one. So they're going for full single target. We might be looking and fishing for specific items in these splits, because when you think about it, in a 30-man unsaved heroic Queen's Anzarek kill, you're always going to get 3 curios. You're always going to get that 1 tier token mailed to you, so you're getting your 4 set regardless. We might be looking for something like a trinket from here,
A rare ring, maybe?
Maybe a ring. Not quite sure exactly what it is we're looking for, but I'm sure we'll hear from here if something drops that they're looking for.
True.
Yeah, I am a little suspect or sus of the 3rd and 4th DK. It is a good idea. I think it's not bad to have maybe 1 or 2 more potentially available, but we saw them topping both AoE and single target earlier yesterday. But at the same time, if having that much AoE means you're pulling away funnel from other classes, with the 2 warriors also in the comp, that might be a little bit...
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think the only counter argument I have to that right now is that there's not really too many classes right now that have that supreme amount of funnel that we've seen from certain classes in the past. Things like, you know, when you think of the big funnel classes from years of lore, we've got like Subtlety Rogue on Shadows.
Yeah.
We've got Ellie Shaman with Igneous Potential.
I remember that.
On Ugnaught. Those aren't really in the game anymore. Most classes, if they do have funnel, they're gaining something like maybe 2 or 3% single target, not like the 20 or 30% that we used to have. So I think the thing that's really going to help them by adding these extra DKs is just consistency, making sure that these ads get destroyed, that you don't get any infest soft, that you can keep things consistent.
That's right, and a big part of that is making sure those characters are going to be geared, as they're not only doing a couple of heroic splits for Queen Anzarek, they're also going in to get their 9s and 10 dungeons done so they can maximize their end of dungeon loot.
Yes.
Possibly get a couple of high priority trinkets, as you know, Mists drops the Unbound Changeling, one of the best trinkets, of course, for like Holy Priest and a few other healers.
It does.
And gilded crests.
I think Mist is not necessarily a trinket angle we're seeing a bunch. I think it's more of a, this is the easiest key, we need crest and don't deplete it kind of angle.
True.
Well, also, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Fire Up could still use like a changeling from this place. It would be a slight upgrade over his current secondary trinket, if I'm not mistaken. There are still like trinkets they can fish for in Mythic Plus on a lot of their characters.
That works.
Sure.
Perfect.
I'm sure plenty of them are still wearing like a 606 Sack Brood.
Right, and you want to try and find the balance here too as well, right? Because we talked about the boss maybe getting some tuning, maybe not needing it, but regardless, this is what sort of can make or break a race, right? Like, you have to think to yourself, okay, we think the boss will likely get tuned? If so, do we keep bashing our head against the wall, or do we actually go break for splits, break for some heroic runs, do M+, which might go to reset? Do you expect reset? Do you get your chores done now? What do you do? Right, and that can greatly influence results.
I think this is kind of like a warm-up to their day, to tell you the truth.
Okay. All right.
I couldn't speak for how all the raiders are be performing, but I could speak for myself, where like I always try to log on a little bit before raid, do a couple dungeons, make sure I'm kind of like in the right mindset before I hop in a raid. So they very easily could say, all right, let's spend an hour, let's spend an hour and a half, whatever it's going to be, do some splits, do some M+, spend whatever extra crests and flight stones and valor stones, whatever you have, then let's get in and get some more pulls. Because last thing you'd want to have is everyone having a delicious breakfast of eggs, bacon, sausage, home fries, and then being a little tired, and then still waking up, and then having some scuff pulls.
Crack a Monster Energy.
That's true. Well, I already did. I have my.
I have mine as well.
What's yours?
A Loca.
Oh, that's right.
Mocha.
I have that too.
Yeah.
I'm a strawberry lemonade enjoyer.
Ooh.
That's early desirable.
some
for a
rehab.
lemonade.
Yeah, I like the Loca Mochas, and then the tea and lemonade.
Yeah, you start off here's the thing. I'll let you in on this. Start the morning off with a variation of a coffee-based monster. Then when lunch hits, you go to one of the lemonades. I like Aussie lemonade.
Mhm.
And at night, you hit one of the recoveries, the sweet tea one. That's a 3-for-1 combo right there. Typically,
Well, the
I
strawberry
charge.
lemonade is one of the rehabs.
Yeah, but that's a nighttime thing. You're recovering from the day.
I'm constantly recovering.
I'm in a state of permanent recovery for 20 years now. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
fair.
I'm sure you could relate, Cal.
Well, I'm 33, so I've been recovering for 30 years. I'm recovering from 2019 still.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, looking at some of the characters' profiles here on Raider.io, they are still wearing, for instance, the case of Fire Up, he's got 2 606 trinkets on. He got really unlucky with Spy Masters. But he can upgrade that second trinket to a changeling and get some upgrades into it. I'm sure he's got some crests in reserve ready to upgrade that if he gets a drop here. So he's specifically not helping out with the Anzarek splits. By the way, important to mention, they're not heroic Anzareks, they're normal Anzareks, so they're just trying to get tier where they can get it, in addition to potentially some very rare items. And of course, all of the characters that would be the beneficiary of the tier do still have that tier token from heroic splits. So they will have the 4-piece, it just won't be ideal item level.
What's the item level that drops from the end of dungeon and 9s and higher?
613.
Okay.
Don't fuck
So
with the
another thing I was
freaking
thinking
blinder.
about was, what if they're holding onto Valor Stones and a couple crests to make sure that they potentially could even get trinkets that may not be that good, but if they drop at a higher eye level, then it's cheaper for them to fully upgrade them.
They can do that too.
Yeah, upgrade a few more pieces as a result.
Most of the players in their guild are at the point where they're just about able to upgrade everything with their runed crests, and will no longer be able to benefit from that. I know THG has definitely upgraded everything to that point. That item level is 619. Once something at 619, you need Gilded Crest to upgrade it. So THG has sent all of his rune crests. Every single piece of gear on his character is 619 or higher.
He's 623, I believe, at this point.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've seen a lot of players crafting weapons this week as well.
Yep, I need to do that today.
Oh yeah, so a +9 gives 9 or 10 higher gives what, 10 gilded crest?
12.
at the end?
12.
Okay.
12 for a time, 5 for untimed.
Yeah, it's been interesting because we've had some heroic runs where a lot of players, like a main hand or an offhand would drop, but it's not actually desired.
Yeah.
Because like you can take both of your sparks, make a 638, I believe, weapon.
636.
6, yeah, there you go. A staff for 2 sparks, but you spend 90 mythic crest, 90 gilded crest versus 120 upgrade or making a main hand offhand combo, or I think it's the same if you upgrade a main hand offhand at mythic level. No, it's higher because Myth Track 6 out of 6.
Right.
Yeah, so it saves you like a bunch of crests both ways, right?
That
Yeah.
you can then use on high priority trinkets.
Right, exactly. If you get them.
Yeah, that is always the challenge. That's right. Because there's going to be, what, 2 nodes or 2 levels on the hero track items. So once you upgrade them fully with Ruined, which is heroic crests, then you have 2 more upgrade levels that you're then upgrading with gilded crests.
Right.
So all of those savings then get funneled into your trinkets or other priority pieces because you save so much on your weapon.
You know, last night we did our final heroic and Shrek splits.
Nice.
I was given a Mad Queen's mandate.
Ooh.
I now have both a Spy Master's Web on heroic and a Mad Queen's mandate on heroic.
Big munch.
Yeah, we're mad.
Every time I've been at an event with you, you've had terrible week 1 RNG. And then I say, hey man, would you like some of my RNG? And then second week, you just get everything you need.
You know, that's actually really true. The last event I had good gear was Boston. No, it was Vault. Because Vault was good too, right? Well, yeah, it was, yeah. Cyrus, the good luck, man.
Seeing your mood change from week 1 to week 2 is it's fun.
It's very noticeable. How much chipper he looks.
I raid for the gear.
Although I did hear him yelling about Soulfire procs last night on Bloodbound Horror.
There was a lot of yelling last night, don't worry.
How'd your raid go last night?
So we 5-shot old racks. People couldn't dodge the frontal, but it's okay. Get it down. And well, we had some great issues, but it worked out with an Onyx statue. Then Bloodbound Horror was about 7 pulls. Should have been about 2, but we got it down. Yeah.
Any sick run?
So we actually had 1 sick run pull with 5 methods and raid, got up to 15%.
Sweet.
First pull was 15%, so we should kill it tonight really fast, and then I'm out for Roshanon, which is great. I can go to bed.
Sweet.
Yeah.
My guild killed Olgrax in 5 or 7 pulls, something like that. No, another thing was like too many. Bloodbound was, I want to say 3 or 4. And so we lost a tank. And everyone was like freaking out. And, like, we got him battle resed almost instantly, and everyone was still like panicking. The boss is like 3%. And I'm like, guys, calm down. Like, we're fine.
I heard that actually. I think I heard that.
Yeah, I was like, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry. Just live. And then we killed Sikrin in like 8 or 9 pulls.
Yeah, you're running for Russian on a very rare cloak drops from that. You wouldn't get that?
No, I'm good.
What?
Yeah. There's some things, Zyra, when you get older like me, you'll understand one day.
How old are you?
Yeah, 33.
I'm 32, man.
Yeah, well, you know, you got a little ways to go. You learn to value your sleep and your peace of mind. And believe me, I am there.
Okay, dude.
Okay, you go to sleep at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm chugging a recovery at 1 in the morning.
Don't talk to us about your self-care.
We actually played 2 Warlocks and Olgrax, though.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah, making up for the 0 in the race for first comp.
Oh, please.
Pretty rough times. Warlock, please.
Oh my God.
They just never stop. They're permanently in a state of sandbag.
I mean, it's
They
more of a
really
running
are.
meme now. Okay, like I have some general ideas what's gonna happen. It's not very good. So
You know how we just kind of as a community collectively decided that we're going to just bash boomkins? Can we just do that for warlocks?
And mages.
Here it comes. Walk it back. Walk it back.
I can give you a 3-minute explanation as to why it's happening, or I can just tell you, you know what? Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
maybe- Okay.
Explain
I
yourself.
don't want to, because like you guys are going to zone out totally. You guys need a break. It's fine.
No, I'll
All
talk
right.
about healing. You know,
Okay.
you guys will zone out on that too. Don't worry.
So, I mean, over the course of beta, there were a couple classes that were really busted. And there's been data on those classes for a few months now, with not much really happening to them, but a couple 1-2% nerfs here and there. I think Locke's profile is pretty good. They're both just staring off into space at this point.
I'm listening.
I think Warlock's profiles are pretty good, but when your damage is sort of low, it's a little irrelevant. Destro received, I think, a 12% aura buff and some spot buffs in certain areas. Demo got like, I think 5%, give or take. I don't remember exactly. But they all sim about the same in single target. There's like a 30k disparity between them all.
Yeah.
Destro's more mobile, but Destro gets you Diabolist, which you can see THG. He's playing actually Demo here, but both
Keys, he's playing Demo. He's also playing Demo on Ovanax.
Yeah, and that big pit lord there, they both have access to that. That's Diabolist, and 2 of those 3 pets bring really strong AoE, and you can queue them up and just sit on max resources for a second or 2. Pop it, and they spawn in and obliterate everything. That's why he jumped from like 10th to commanding 1st on Roshanon. It's the hero talent. They put a huge meteor down and nuked everything. So like when they're all the same, it sort of enabled Destro Diabolist to be the most mobile spec, which is scary to say in the first place. About the same in single target, good execute, and also has this Diabolist cleave here every so often because it's just a constant state of demon spawning over and over. So I don't think Locke is incredibly good damage-wise. Like, we're still middle-ish of the pack. We have these good profiles, and the buffs that came in sort of enabled these builds where you can play other versions of it, but, like, we're not beating Arcane Mage or Enhanced Shaman or Rogue or a slew of other classes.
DK?
I mean, on certain fights, possibly, but